First of all, thank you for taking this interview. My name is Miguel Soriano from Sons of KS in Latin America. And you had one of the toughest matches I think you had on this stage against Leviathan, an old foe, let's say, the one that kept you from lifting the trophy on the past year, and
Yeah.
right now you are showing a new face. You are closing the maps. You are getting there. You're going the distance as in the past that seemed a little bit of trouble of that. So, what are your impressions regarding this match? What are the things that you like? What you see on the team? What you see on the gameplay? And what has been for you today on against Leviathan?
Are you asking me like what I liked from like Lev or from us?
No, from your
Oh,
game,
okay.
from how you did in the match.
Um, the two maps, I mean, all three maps we went in with kind of blind. They didn't have VOD on any of those maps, so it's definitely very tough. And I think that we were very good at problem solving and recognizing what they were doing and like kind of ways to counter it. Even though like Fracture didn't go our way, I feel like on Haven, we had a good understanding of it. It took us some time on our attack side to close it out, but I feel like still we were just in control. It's just like we don't have any information on them and they have all the information on us, so it becomes a lot easier for them and a lot harder for us. So um I'm glad that we were able to win. I'm glad that we were able to win Lotus too and keep that streak. But we need to just make sure, we still started a little slow, I'd say. And yeah, like it's always hard when you don't really know what your opponent's gonna do.
It's like, yeah, tiptoeing over here and over there just to see what happens. Um, Back in the last map, there were some rounds that were complicated. In the end, you had like the double digit on the score, but still they managed to score a couple more rounds. What would you say? Well, I think that you just mentioned that you didn't have like any bots on them on those maps, and that was like kind of a factor for you to struggle a little bit more. So, you have a game next week against Cloud9. It's the last match on this stage. How do you feel in the face of this match? How do you see the team about to close with a perfect record? Is it possible?
I mean, I definitely think it's possible. I think it's gonna be, you know, um, Cloud9 is looking really good. They're the other person aiming for the first seed in our group. I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely gonna be hard. They've shown good maps, bad maps. I think that we match up pretty well into them in terms of like what they like and what we like. So that's pretty exciting. And also they've shown a lot more. Like we're going into the final week, so it's definitely like most teams have like their map pools kind of figured out and stuff like that and like what they like to do on the maps. So it should be a fun game. It always is with them. Like they have the capability to shoot at any time and they have the individual talent, but they've been looking better and better in terms of the other stuff, which was always kind of what they struggled with. And it's just going to come down to like honestly map veto, I feel like, for that team and just on the day performance.
Thank you for that. Changing a little bit of subject. There's right now like an ongoing discussion regarding among players from the pro scene regarding the current state of Valorant, the utility usage, and I believe most of it, the zone abilities, are becoming like hard to work with because basically you have a Bisolt, you have a Tehold, you have flashes, rockets, everything pouring down on you when you're defending side, and this kind of gets a little bit on the nerve of the people because they don't feel like they're playing a tactical FPS anymore, rather than maybe just uh,
Like Overwatch, kind of.
Overwatch kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, what is your take regarding this topic? Is it good as it is for the game, or maybe they are like distancing from what it should have been in the beginning?
Um, I mean, I feel like it just kind of has been people have gotten better with util and there's just more agents that are like very meta that have the util like that. Vice is like the only sentinel that actually has like an info piece of util and also like zone ability and stuff like that. Um, you can make the same argument for Killjoy too, like in terms of that. But for like Teo and Breach, like I think every meta has always been kind of like something bad about it. Like Neon meta is literally just like, oh, like who can just dodge all the util and who can just slide in and one tap somebody, and it's not a fun time even for like the other players. You're kind of just like praying and not really like it's not really like fair, I guess, to like other people because like this agent's just so good that like if there's a good player on it, he can just carry the game. And Chamber meta was the exact same way. Um, we even had like a similar meta back in like first Iceland where it was like the Viper Astra meta with like Astra Suck being super low cooldown and double Viper Molly and stuff like that and like Sova. So I think people are just crying because they don't really know how to play against it. When in reality, like they just need to be better. Like we're a team that focuses really hard on util instead of shooting, and like it's obviously a shooter game, but like in CS, even in CS, which is like what they're gonna compare it to, it's like you will get three mollied exec, and obviously you can just throw smoke on your feet in CS, but there's still a lot of util in these other games, and people just kind of complain because they would rather have drive 1v1 fights and stuff like that. When in reality, that's never how attack FPS is going to be played, and there's cringe stuff in every game, and people don't like it, but they're just gonna have to get better or just stay complacent.
Yeah, because I do remember that some games kind of do this like OP stuff in order like to maintain certain like novelty in within and how it's played, even though it sometimes can be abused. Um, and just we're about to get the time up, but talking about the current scene of how it is, you guys are one of the ascended teams. Right now, there's this rule about the 2 years and 1 year, and then if you don't qualify to champions, then you will have to defend your spot, which I see unlikely for you. But talking about how is the scene for the teams that are competing on tier two, and the way that things are handled on tier one. Um, Being one of the ascended teams, do you see the current system working for the franchise system? Should be like an open spot from maybe one of the franchises that don't perform well that consistently on consistent basis. I mean, talking about being on the bottom of the list, maybe 2 or 3 years in a row. How do you see this scene in this subject? What are your thoughts about this?
Um, I don't really know too much because I feel like they need to have ascension, obviously, because of tier two teams. Like they need an incentive for tier two teams to want to be in the scene. But I don't know about like worst performing. Obviously Riot would know about that more than me, but I would just say that like I think that teams in general should be incentivized more to perform better and not, be able to be so fine being bad, if that's like how I can put it. And it's honestly like sad. And I know it's not like I don't understand the full picture of all of it and like all the orgs and all that stuff because like a team like Furia, for example, they want to stay Brazilian because of just the fan base there and the organization. But sometimes it's just really hard to get the talent over, with visas and stuff like that, and it's really hard to even make roster moves in the middle of the season because of those visas as well. So, you know, it's not truly all of their fault. Like maybe, obviously people should be held accountable like individually in the game and also just like management and stuff, but it's hard because people don't want to, piss off their whole community. Um and they want to, make sure that they have fans and stuff like that. But there's definitely ways to do it, and I feel like some orgs aren't as good. But I don't think punishing them just for being bad is enough. Like I feel like there should be like a stronger emphasis on just making sure that like if you are good and you are a good team, you get rewarded more.
Yeah, because right now, well, we have the left scene. Give me just 1 second. This guy just came here. There's just that case with Lev that they went international, and the
Yeah.
fan base got quite upset with that. But
Mhm.
talking about this, well, they have less trouble with visas and everything because well,
Yeah.
it's easier for them. Well, thank you so much for the input. Thank you so much for the interview. We wish you the best for the upcoming matches, for playoffs as well. You guys are, I believe, maybe on top of the Champions Point
Yeah,
leaderboard. So
yeah.
that's awesome news too, because that means that we're getting to see you in France in a couple of months. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time,
Thank you.
and I hope the better for you guys. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somos que en la grieta vamos a luchar, con nuestras teclas la victoria alcanzar, promoción y estrategia.